Concerned, that would be fine.
All right, now a couple of economic issues. If there is tax reform, will Donald Trump argue to save the home mortgage interest deduction, the charitable interest deduction, and the state income tax deduction?
Well, the home interest, let's go one at a time. Home interest, yes, because I know nobody knows housing like I do. Nobody knows jobs like I do, and nobody knows the economy like I do. If you take the interest deduction away, you're going to destroy the housing industry.
Amen. God, thank you. Would you call some Republicans and tell them that?
Well, they don't get it. Look, these are people that never produced a job. Most of them, I guess. I'm not talking about all of them, but most of them. And I was going over it. I've produced tens of thousands of jobs. I have thousands of employees, but I've produced over my life tens of thousands of jobs. Nobody knows more about that than me. You get rid of the interest deduction, interest mortgage deduction, you will see a housing industry that crashes. And it's, in a sense, our biggest industry. You understand. You add it all up together. It's
4 jobs for everyone created. Yep. How about the charitable deduction?
I would say that I would leave the charitable deduction. People do use it. They do give to charity. Some abuse the deduction. I'm sure we can do certain work on it. But the charitable deduction would be fine as far as I'm concerned to leave.
And the state income tax deduction. Because I live in California, and I think the state will collapse if that goes away.
Yeah, no, I think you're going to have to leave it. Otherwise, you're going to see some states. Now, the problem with that is, you have some states that have really been well-behaved, and they do it right. And those people are actually, not benefiting by this, whereas you have other states that are over-levered, over-borrowed, and they're taking maximum advantage of the federal government, which in a way is unfair. You have other states that don't even have the problem because they have so little debt out there. So those people or those states are being punished but in the meantime, I think you have to leave it. You're changing the ball game so rapidly that I could see leaving it and I would be fine with it.
Right, last question on taxes, last question for today, and I'll see you in Las Vegas.
Okay.
The Forbes 400 has you listed at 121. I went through and added up the top 50 today. Charles, beginning with Gates and then Warren Buffett and the Koch brothers and Larry Ellison, the top 50 have $1.1 trillion in wealth. Shouldn't we have a wealth tax in this country, Donald Trump, to redistribute? That's a lot of money in the hands of 50 people.
No, I don't think so. These are job producers, and I don't think so. And I'm not saying that because I'm on the list. I'm just saying I don't think so at all. I think that when you do that, you really, there was a time years ago when I wanted to pay off the deficit, and I said I would be okay if they took a certain percentage of what I had, and which was much smaller than what I have right now, but took a certain percentage and let's pay off the deficit. But now our deficit is so humongous, nothing's going to matter. I mean, the only thing that's going to pay off our deficit is having a raging great economy, which under my tax plan, and by the way, the great Larry Kudlow agrees with me. He loves my plan, you know that, and he's a friend of yours, and he's a terrific guy.
Yep.
But under my tax plan, I think we're going to have a really dynamic economy. That's what we have to do.
But the income inequality, the wealth inequality, not income inequality, when you've got people with $50 billion and you've got people with $50, it does produce incredible disturbance. I think actually that's what's behind Black Lives Matter, is that there's income inequality. It's behind Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Doesn't a wealth tax at least take some of the sting out of that?
Well, but then you do take away the incentive to go out and become great, and you take away a lot of incentive from a lot of people. So it's a double, it's very much of a double-edged sword. Where you can solve the problem and really solve your problems is make the economy great and make the economy strong.